Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and today we're going to do unboxing reviews of the Samsung Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus, as we have several that just came in via UPS. Let's check them out. So this week marks the launch of the S8 and S8 Plus from Samsung, the next generation of smartphones that hopes to make up for the challenging time a lot of us had with the Note 7. So let's go ahead and do an unboxing. I have a couple Note 8s with different colors, as well as I also have an S8 that we can take a look at. We'll do the unboxing simultaneously, and we'll just go through what's in the box, and then we'll do a setup, install, and review. Now, for those of you who are considering the S8 versus the S8 Plus, if you haven't seen it in stores, this is the magnitude and the difference in size. It's a large screen. It is a larger, longer phone, but it's not that significantly bigger when it comes to holding in your hand. It's actually, I find it very easy to hold in your hand and also easy to navigate. This is an Arctic silver one, this is a black, and this is a black. But what you notice is that the front of the phones are all black. I thought that the treatment of silver would move to the front, so the only way someone's going to see your color choice is by looking at the back. And the other challenge or thing that I really didn't realize is that if you have a case, no one's going to know what color you chose anyway. So I don't know how much your color preference has to do with the phone and how it looks, because when you think about the S7, you had the front area here had matched the same color treatment of your phone. So if you were looking at the color, it's not that big a deal because it's in the back only. Now, while we have three versions of the phone, two colors, an S8 Plus and an S8, all the phones are identical when it comes to what's inside. So we're going to only unbox one of them. And let's go ahead and open this up so you can see what's included. So what you're going to get is a user guide or informational guide coming from AT&T, your phone, right? You have a SIM card, depending on your carrier. You also then have user guide, instructional information, and your SIM. You have a micro USB to USB-C, so you can use your legacy cables. So if you have like a cord in your car to charge your phone, you can just put this on that phone cord, the USB charging cable, and then you can use it for your new phone. You do have this little adapter here, which is USB-C to USB, and what that's going to be used for is to charge, to transfer data, but also if you want to connect a USB cord into your phone for external memory. It's called OTG. You'd be able to do that. And then what you have also is your rapid charging charger. We have in this area a headphone solution, and it's actually a very good one. It's from AKG, and we'll talk about that later. And your USB-C cable. Now, there are several videos on YouTube that talk about all the specs on the phone, so I'm not going to go through every single spec, but just highlight some of the things I wanted you to be aware of. First of all, if you chose a specific color, the Arctic silver, the orchid gray, something other than black, what I noticed is that the color only applies to the back, not to the front. So no matter what color you chose, the top is going to be black. That's something that was surprising to me. I ended up getting black and silver just to see if the differences. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see it because once you put it in a case, unless it's a secure case, you're not going to care. You do have 5.8 versus a 6.2 inch screen, which is huge, and that's one of the big differences. Another thing that is not really highlighted enough is Bluetooth 5.0, which means that the Bluetooth transfer rate on this phone, connection speed, also the ability to stream content to two devices at the same time is definitely possible with the S8 Plus and the S8. That's also something that was, I think, overlooked somewhat when it comes to some of the new features. Now, this is a full glass phone, front and back, Gorilla Glass 5. Also, I would encourage you guys to look at Jerry Rig, who has videos around how scratch resistance and the build quality, and this is a pretty strong phone. I would still put a screen protector on it and also have a good case. And I know for some of you, you may wonder why, because it's such a good looking phone, but I do know of several family members and people in my direct family that drop phones all the time, and it's such a beautiful device, and I just don't want it to get ruined, so they're going to have some heavy duty cases like the ones I reviewed. It's going to have top specs when it comes to your processor. You're looking at an octa-core processor running at 1.7 and 2.3 gigahertz. It's just a beast of a phone, and it's also going to support up to 256 gig expandable memory. So it does come with a standard 64. Now, from a camera perspective, which we all are big into shooters of this type, shooting pictures, and you can see that in the back, the camera megapixel is pretty much the same as it was before, but there have been some updates, and early reviews have said that the image quality is much better. The fingerprint sensor is on the back now, so you can see that right there on the back, and you can see a lot of articles covering that. And it's not the most useful either, but I've used the Note 7 and the retina scanning capabilities, the ability to recognize you by your through your eyes, is very good. Now, the facial recognition one can be faked easily with the photo. I have not been able to do that with the eye scanner, and it works really well. Speakers are okay, not great because it only has one and it's there in the bottom. And I would say overall, the feel of the phone, even though it's big and you can see it here, I don't have big hands, yet I can reach one side to the other easily. This is going to be tricky up here, the fingerprint sensor, so we'll have to see how that works. Besides that, it's running the latest version of Android, and it has a fantastic, absolutely gorgeous screen that not all the content on the internet is going to be ready for it. So you're going to be able to see the web pages are going to be great. Navigation is going to be great, but when it comes to some videos, you may see some cutting on the side because of the new aspect ratio. So, that's a huge screen in each phones. So let's go ahead, start them up, and set them up. So we'll go ahead and power up the phone. Press the button. And you'll notice how black the blacks are with this phone. It is really, really sharp. Almost very difficult to see the difference between, unless you're in the right angle, where the actual frame ends and the screen begins. Now, again, this is the AT&T version, so I'm going to have to put in my SIM and get things started. But for now, we're just going to go through the initial setup. You can see how nice and bright the screen is. I'm going to go ahead and hit Start in English so you can see what's involved. I'm going to go ahead and set up my Wi-Fi. Once you set up your Wi-Fi, I'm going to agree to all the terms and conditions. You can't really go any further if you don't. And you can send data. I'll probably opt out of that. I'm going to go do that. It's going to connect to the network, check and see if there's any software updates, and next I'll put in one of my Gmails. Now, one thing you'll have to do is accept all the terms and conditions and all the things that you're going to sync into. I'm going to hit next. Go ahead and see which one I'm going to restore from. And now what I have the choice is to restore from all the apps I have. Now, you have two choices here. You can choose to restore, or you can use the sync method. And I'm going to show you both ways. I will tell you that I was able to synchronize all the apps, and I had between apps, music, video, around 5.8 gig. And it took, with the synchronization between the old phone and the new phone, no more than 10 minutes. So that's greatly improved. Now, when you're in this area, what you can do is you can actually choose which apps you want to remove, which ones you want to keep. And I went through it and cleaned up my apps before I brought this phone in, so I'm just going to go ahead and install all of them. Now, once you set up the restore process, and that's going in the background, you have the ability to set up your face recognition, fingerprint, iris, or pin pattern. I will tell you, based on where the fingerprint is, I would set it up as a backup, but I would go with the iris scanner or the pin. The fingerprint is just not usable in the back, and then the face recognition can be fooled. So let's go ahead and hit skip. We'll look at that a little bit later. We'll skip it anyway. And now we're going to let the device do its restore. And once we get to a point where we actually can do the data sync, we'll come back to the video. Now you will see this completing setup message as it's going through its process. Now there's several steps on the phone that are specific to AT&T that I skipped. Their AT&T app locker and all this other stuff. So I wanted to jump into this area. It's always good to create a Samsung account if you don't have one, because it does give you the ability to find your device. Also links into Samsung Pay. So we're going to go ahead and log in. Now this is the step that I wanted to show you. So here, if you can either download for the Samsung Cloud and get all your information, or you can do a direct connection using that USB cable to move your data over. So all you would do is you would plug in that USB C to USB here, put in your micro USB to your other phone, and then start the sync process. Let me show you how it's done. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we do the transfer. I'm just going to clear out some of the messages that I have on my phone. This is my old phone. This is the new one, and I'm going to plug in the USB into the port. And now, let Make sure that it's unlocked. And here I'm just going to choose Smart Switch. And now, let's go ahead and plug that in one more time since it wants me to follow its directions. So I'll do that again. All right. And now it's going to ask me to allow access here. So I'll go ahead and allow access. And it's going to start reading all of the information from this device so that I can put it on this device. So what we're going to do is we're going to let it identify the number of apps, the number of contacts, the number of music. It's going to copy everything over. It's also going to copy your look and feel. So if you have folders, if you have groups, all that stuff is going to come over to the new phone. So you're going to have the exact same thing. Now if you want to start from scratch, you can do that too. But I kind of like having everything exactly the same. Let's go ahead and set it up. Now, this is kind of the extreme, so let's don't judge me for this. I have 405 contacts. I have 5,578 messages that I have on my text messaging. Again, no judging, please, but I have a lot of messages that I just haven't deleted because I have a long string of stuff. 18 memos, S notes, call logs, all these things are going to be copied over. It's looking at apps, 132 items, 5.58 gig, and then it's looking at media, how much I have on the device. And then also it's going to tell me what I have in storage on my SD. I'm going to leave the SD stuff on the SD. I'm not going to transfer it because I'll just move the card. But up here it tells me estimated total size of data that I need. I have 50 gig left. It's going to take up 6. So all is good. It says it's going to take 55 minutes. But I got to tell you, I've tried this already with another phone, and it took no more than 10 minutes for 5 gig. So we're going to let it go through the process, let it copy all the data, and then we'll see how things work. Now, for those of you who went ahead and did the install but did not copy the apps over, I just wanted to show you what kind of bloatware, what's on the phone. Now, some of us, I know I in particular, there are times that I choose to start installing applications from scratch just to make sure I don't bring any bad stuff with me. So if you chose not to do the syncing of the applications and you're doing things manually and you're curious to see what does the phone look like when it's stock, first time startup with no install, this is what it looks like. So you have, again, this kind of wallpaper. It's this blue wallpaper. You have the date and also the location with the temperature, so you have weather. You also then have, if you swipe up here, this is where your app drawer is now. So your app drawer, you don't have a dedicated button for it, so you swipe up, and then this is where all your apps are. Now, how many apps are installed? Pretty much that's it, what you see here. There's nothing else. However, there is some bloatware. You'll see that you have Yellow Pages. You do have Samsung Pay, but I kind of love Samsung Pay. It's one of the few things that work. I have a iPhone and I have Apple Pay, and this thing works 99.9% of the time, and the other one is hit or miss. So definitely check it out if you haven't. But then what you have is some significant apps here that are Samsung specific apps that you can't uninstall, you can only disable. And then obviously AT&T is going to give you some bloatware, so this is the AT&T bloatware, which you can disable but not install. So that's what it looks like from a fresh install when you haven't really done any synchronization. So this concludes my unboxing and initial setup for the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus and the S8. If you have any comments or questions, leave it in the comment area below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, don't forget to share and subscribe. Keep in mind that I'm going to have some tips and tricks, and we're going to do all the case reviews again. So, and also we're going to do screen protector installations. So stay tuned on the channel. Talk to you soon.